overseas and on the move. U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, the suspension of U.S. immigrant visa processing, issues and implications. And in the second watch, growing concerns about AI-generated, non-consensual, sexualized images of real persons. For our social media question, we ask, do countries owe transparency and timelines when immigration processes are suspended or delayed? We're asking you to share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and YouTube channel, and also on WhatsApp 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's I quote.
All right, today's I quote says, justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are. This one is from Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah. Morning, Jokal.
Good morning.
Yeah, interesting quote again. In the words of the producer, the quote reminds us that policies made at a distance can have deeply personal consequences. Yeah. The first watch after this break.
Tuesday, January 20, on The Rock, we tackle a bold and timely question. Is the church becoming too feminine? And if it is, what does that really mean? Join our guests, Anthony Bryan and Paul Bourne, as we explore whether men are withdrawing from the faith or if outdated ideas of masculinity are colliding with the heart of the gospel. We're digging deep, separating perception from truth to see if this is a cultural concern, a statistical reality, a theological misunderstanding, or even a spiritual opportunity for the church. Plus, don't miss Scripture Spotlight with Danielle Dodd. That's The Rock, Tuesday, January 20 at 10 a.m. on the family station, Love 101.
On the next mailbox, we'll be exploring the theme, men leading in faith, family, and finances. Leading in these areas involve a holistic approach to biblical manhood, characterized by sacrificial love, stewardship, and purposeful servant-hearted guidance. It is said that a man's primary responsibility is to cultivate his own relationship with God, which in turn fuels his ability to lead his home and manage resources responsibly. You are invited to join the conversation with our special guests, Reverend Nigel Martin and Elder John Rooms, as they share on this relevant topic in a 21st century setting. That's Wednesday, January 21 at 5:30 p.m. on the family station, Love 101, the mailbox, Monday. Which part of the man of God, when you hear the trumpet or the... Arise, mighty God.
Kingston Keswick Convention 2026 under the theme Kingdom People Empowered for Expansion at the Boulevard Baptist Church from Sunday, January 18 to Sunday, January 25 with main speaker Reverend Dr. DeVere Nugent, pastor of the East Queen Street Baptist Church. Listen live on Love 101 FM on Sunday, January 18, Thursday, January 22, and Sunday, January 25 from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and on Saturday, January 24 for men's gathering from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Join Love 101 FM's social media platforms for the full nightly services from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's the Kingston Keswick Convention 2026, Sunday, January 18 to Sunday, January 25, live on Love 101 FM, the family station. It's time to enter.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Now, as we go into the first watch, recent reporting indicates that Jamaica is among dozens of countries affected by a suspension of certain categories of U.S. immigrant visa or visa processing, pending administrative reviews and policy realignments by U.S. authorities. Now, while non-immigrant visas such as tourist and student visas are reportedly continuing, this pause has raised serious concerns. And to discuss the issues and implications therein, we are joined by Wayne Goldin, U.S. immigration lawyer, and Christoph Simpson, chairman of Left Alliance for National Democracy and Socialism. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Great, good to have you both with us. I begin with you, Wayne Goldin. What does this suspension mentioned above, what does it entail? And just to be clear, it's not about tourist or student visas or business visas, correct?
Correct. It's simply one category referenced as immigrant visas, where folks are trying to migrate to the United States as a permanent resident after being filed for either by family, business, and they're eligible on that basis. The applications get processed and are sent to the embassy in whatever particular country that the person is from to be processed and finalized for them to be able to come to the United States to get their green card or to complete the process of actually receiving their green card. And so what you're seeing now, because the United States has decided policy-wise that we want to take a harder look at these beneficiaries, these people who are going to be benefiting from this type of visa, permanent visa, to see if they will become what we call public charges once they get to the United States, meaning financially they will be taking advantage of social services that are here in the United States that are offered to citizens of the United States. So they're looking at just stepping back and saying, let's just put a pause on all these applications as of January 21st, and we're going to develop a new system on how we analyze and look at them, and then we will restart once we have those new policies in place.
Yeah. Christoph Simpson, what are the possible geopolitical and nationalistic realities behind the suspension, would you say?
Well, for the past few decades, we've been living under a neoliberal system. Free trade and some more free migration. And that meant as you had capital moving pretty freely. So money is being extracted from different parts of the world by a particular country or by a particular set of countries. And there aren't many opportunities in countries like ours. So our people tend to flock to Europe and the US and Canada, the developed countries, right? This has had negative effects on both those countries and our countries, but in different ways. For our countries, a lot of our skilled workers leave. Anybody with any sort of mobility is trying to leave. I mean, for a time, we saw the Jamaican dream as migrating, right? I think that's a commonly held understanding within our society.
Yeah.
The negative effects that it has on those countries is that their labor force becomes uninterested in labor. Oh, we have some poor people in other countries coming in. We don't need to do certain types of jobs. When you compare the US to China in that regard, China has a large labor force for their manufacturing base. The US workers don't seem so interested in things like manufacturing. When people are graduating from college, they don't want to be working certain jobs that feel even labor intensive. You want to get something that you can just work in the office and you're nice and you're good.
Yeah.
So a lot of certain types of jobs are either shipped offshore or done by immigrants. A lot of agricultural labor done by immigrants. And Trump has said it. It feels like the American people have gotten lazy. So they're trying to correct these things now in their view. Don't know how well it will play out for the US itself because it's a lot of things they're shifting at once. But they're trying to bring back jobs to Americans, they're saying. Don't know how well prepared their labor force is for that though. Another issue we have had is specifically with our doctors, even though this is more UK, and nurses, countries like those have less of an incentive to actually train the doctors and nurses and teachers that they need for their own country. So we spend that money here, train people here, and they poach them. So this has had negative effects on us, the existing thing that was there before. But that's not to say that this is motivated by a desire to do something good for us either. And of course, we will feel some negative effects. A lot of people that go up, even if they get low paying jobs, the money that they're making is still good enough that they can send down here. And
Christoph Simpson, I'm so sorry, we're up on a break, all right? We don't want to break your train of thought. So when we come back, we'll hear more from you. Soon come back.
Hands are good for your health. In the wake of Hurricane Melissa, protecting your health includes a simple act: washing your hands. Use soap and safe water to remove dirt and germs after cleaning, before eating, and after using the toilet. If clean water is limited, use hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. Remember, clean hands stop the spread of disease and help to keep families safe. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
As a contractor, I never work without a plan.
As an electrician, protection is always a priority.
If you're a small business owner or an independent contractor, there's a plan that gives you protection and coverage. Sagicor Pro Shield. Get up to $1 million critical illness coverage and cover up to 80% of your medical costs for as little as $15,510 every 3 months. Get the protection you need with Sagicor Pro Shield. Call 876-936-7784. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and this is the first watch We are looking at the suspension of U.S. immigrant visa processing, issues and implications from that. And in so doing, we have online Christoph Simpson, chairman of Left Alliance for National Democracy and Socialism, and Wayne Goldin, who's a U.S. immigration lawyer. Before the break, we were reminded of the fact that this is not about the tourist, student, or business visas. And Christoph Simpson, of course, was telling us about the geopolitical and nationalistic realities behind the suspension. You want to continue, Christoph Simpson?
Yeah, so I was saying now that we know that remittances are a significant source of income for some households, and then when you aggregate that nationally, the remittances are a significant source of foreign exchange. So in that regard, there will be we could anticipate some negative effects, but it's not as if everybody there that's sending down remittances now is being kicked out immediately. I mean, that's another topic to discuss though, because you see in certain moves being made, but we have to look beyond this idea of migrating to the US as what will be our dream. We have to have a better national dream than that. We have to start really, it has been challenging to do so, especially with the policy that existed before, or with the avenues that existed before, that where people could just leave and try to look for life elsewhere. We really have to build Jamaica to be a place that it makes sense for people to actually stay and contribute to our national development in whatever way. And that sounds very abstract, but we have to have provision of decent jobs here, and we have to train people for things that will actually build our national economy.
Yeah. Wayne Golin, I don't know if you want to say anything on that before I ask you another question.
Well, we shouldn't get the issue convoluted. You know, what we're talking about here are those people who are mostly going to the United States for family reunification after spending years away from their relatives, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a child, whether it's a brother or sister, and coming to the United States to reunify with their family and to begin a new life here. And a lot of people have, depending on that hope, to make their decisions, including whether they go to school, whether they continue their careers where they are, what is your involvement in your country to the extent that you can free yourself to migrate. And that's why in the broad sense of advice that we give as an immigration attorney for those people being sponsored is not to give up your current life where you're living in your home country. Don't sell your property, don't stop going to schools, don't stop going to work, because some of these visa categories in permanent sponsorship takes up to 12 years. For that person to finally get their visa to come to their permanent resident visa to come to the United States. So all this other issue about, brain drain and all of this stuff, it's secondary, because the primary purpose that most people migrate for permanently when they get that opportunity is for family reunification. Of course, yes, you have those professionals who are recruited for employment. But the whole idea is that the U.S. can make a decision with regards to immigration policy because it's fully their right. And you can't really know what the motivation really is, if it's a political type of situation, a policy type of situation. But they're going to tell you they're going to make a decision that will protect the United States.
Yeah.
Yes, and in this case, they're telling you that, look, you have people from 75 countries that we think we need to take a closer look at, because if and when they come to the United States, they may be relying on resources from the government. And of course, Jamaicans, especially living abroad, are very stunned that Jamaica is on that list, although there's no empirical evidence presented, Jamaicans coming here with a green card especially do extremely well. You know, they come, they work jobs, they go to school, they improve themselves. And so
they pay the taxes.
It's a surprise to many.
And they pay the taxes.
To hear, to hear that Jamaicans are on this list of people they think are going to end up on the government coffers. Because Jamaicans are often teased that you come to the United States and you get 2-3 jobs to make it. So, you know, it's this conundrum that's there. But again, it goes back to U.S. policy and what they have in their toolbox to use. And ironically, the government of Jamaica really has, I wouldn't say has no standing, but no overwhelming interest in saying to the United States, why are you stopping our people from migrating permanently to your country? Because those people are leaving Jamaica. So, you know, it's a conundrum there. So we are just going to have to wait to see what the policy is, what the rules are, because everything is rule-driven.
I'm happy. I'm happy you're going there, Wayne Golden, because what are your concerns with the fact that the suspension apparently has an indefinite timeline to it?
Well, what I would say is that Jamaica is not special. You know, we often think Jamaica is a special place, has a special relationship to the United States. On one hand, they have the suspension going. On the other hand, they're complimenting Jamaica of, you know, going down on the index for travel warning and hurricane relief and all of that stuff. So it's a matter of Jamaica's best interest at this point. I don't know if there's going to be a strong push from the diplomatic side from Jamaica. I am not privy to that. However, on the United States side, the policy is in effect, and it's going to have negative impact on those people who are preparing to leave Jamaica because people have made plans. And moving forward, we don't even know how it's going to impact those applications in terms of time limits for children who would age out because they've reached the age of 21 before the applications are finished processing. So there's a lot to chew on in terms of what will happen down the road.
Yeah. Christoph Simpson, what do you make of the fact that Trinidad, Suriname, and Guyana, I believe, have reportedly been exempted from the suspension?
Well, a lot of persons are interpreting that as a sort of political reward for those countries' alignment with certain recent actions that the U.S. took in the region. But of course, that's speculation, because that's all we can do, speculate at this point. There is no way of confirming, but it was interesting to see that because Jamaica is often considered one of Trump's allies in the region.
Yes.
But
Marco Rubio said that recently.
Yeah, and I think there are some important officials that came and visited Jamaica in late December as well, leading up to certain things taking place in this region. But may very well be that. It may not be. We'll see. Even though this is an indefinite suspension, if it's that they're reworking policy, we give time for them to do that and see where things go.
You mentioned certain developments in recent times. Are you talking about the Venezuela situation?
Yes.
Right.
Definitely.
Is that the only possible reason and concern that behind this? Remember now, Trinidad, Suriname, and Guyana. Are there any similarities there with the three?
I wouldn't say it's the only possible reason, but we don't know. We don't know what exactly the rationale is. The U.S. hasn't given that detailed rationale. They gave a rationale, and what their rationale was the same thing about foreigners becoming a burden on the public coffers. And as Mr. Golding said, like that doesn't sound like the Jamaicans that move there. Jamaicans that move there tend to be very industrious. But we'll we just have to see when they actually update their policies, because remember, this is a suspension. When they update the policies, surely migration from a lot of countries will resume, but it might become more difficult or come with certain extra conditions that weren't there before. We'll see. But to talk about the possible reasons that countries were added or not added to the list, that would be a lot of speculation. It would be very speculation dependent because they haven't said much.
Yeah, hearing you. Wayne Golden, the future. I know we would have the ability to look into the future, but what are your concerns going forward with this recent suspension? Is there an indication of a trend developing that we may become a reality for Jamaica and the Caribbean nations in the future?
Well, I often tell people you have to be a student of history and you have to take people at their word. This administration made it clear at the outset of this term, and also when the president was in power previously, that immigration is one of their top concerns. It's probably one of the lowest hanging fruit in a political football game, but it's their one of their top concerns. They've put out ideas of where they want to go already. And I tell people, just wait, more is coming, because they indicated that in the plans that they put forward in the previous administration, including plans to scuttle visa categories, to take away certain types of sponsorship that were currently available, including sponsorship for siblings, which is, one of the longest wait, but it's one of the most beneficiary sponsorship to Caribbean folks over the years, because, for example, if a U.S. citizen sibling sponsors brother or sister, that brother and sister's spouse, children under the age of 21, are eligible to come through that one application. So if they take away this category, although it's a long wait, it means less legal immigration. Right. Of course, they're concentrating on illegal immigration also, which is something that we really don't have that much say in terms of what they're saying on the national security reasons and all of that stuff.
It's not looking so good. It's not looking so good. The future is not looking so wonderful in terms of immigration.
Well, immigration has always had its challenges. If you look back at the history of immigration to the United States, it was first one of those bring us your tired, you're poor. We want all of you guys in. We want people who can help to build a country. Then it shifted over the years. Certain countries, Ireland, China, whatever, their nationals were subject to different conditions. Even paying taxes.
Sorry, we're out of time right now. We have to leave it there, all right? I think we get the point that you're making, all right? That there has been a certain trajectory over the years that will continue. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Have a safe, productive day.
Thank you.
Great. Listeners, the Morning Watch, and viewers, the Morning Watch will return in just a moment.
Start your journey with a GN Small Business Loan with small business loans as little as $10,000 and up to $4 million. The time by GN Small Business Loan is
7:30.
Stepping confidently into a new year starts with one simple, powerful word. Yes! Say yes to new beginnings. Say yes to a secure future. Say yes to living the life you love with your family. With health and life insurance from Sagicor Life, we're here to give you the protection and peace of mind you deserve in 2026. All you have to do is say yes to what matters most. Call 888 Sagicor to speak with an advisor today.
Need to pass your CSEC CAPE exams to get that dream job or to qualify for university? Then Distinction College is the school for you. We have locations in Kingston, Spanish Town, St. Elizabeth, and Ocho Rios. Start day, evening, and Saturday classes this coming term and sit CSEC CAPE exams for January's resit or May, June. Maths, law, science, English. We have the lowest school fees. Register before the end of the month and win an entire term free. Call us at 354-8560.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now look at some headlines within our newspapers. First of all, police report 45% decline in murders so far this year. Great. Also, prosecution says evidence proves Constable Noel Maitland is responsible for Donnelly Donaldson's death. Also, retired SSP wants police empowered to seize vehicles of unruly motorists. Health Ministry launches program allowing parents longer stays with children at Bustamante Hospital. And then finally, Guyana intensifies border defenses as tension in Venezuela escalates. All right, those are some of the major stories, major headlines within our newspapers. Coming up next, we share some of the feedback from our social media question. Do countries owe transparency and timelines when immigration processes are suspended or delayed? What do you think? Leave a comment on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. We'll be right back.
Kingston Keswick Convention 2026 under the theme Kingdom People Empowered for Expansion at the Boulevard Baptist Church from Sunday, January 18 to Sunday, January 25 with main speaker Reverend Dr. DeVere Nugent, pastor of the East Queen Street Baptist Church. Listen live on Love 101 FM on Sunday, January 18, Thursday, January 22, and Sunday, January 25 from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and on Saturday, January 24 for men's gathering from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Join Love 101 FM's social media platforms for the full nightly services from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's the Kingston Keswick Convention 2026, Sunday, January 18 to Sunday, January 25, live on Love 101 FM, the family station.
It's time to enter.
Eternal Father. Right now, our brothers and sisters in Western Jamaica are hurting. Homes have been destroyed. Families are struggling to start again after Hurricane Melissa.
Love 101 FM, the family station, is calling on you to join hearts and hands in love in action.
You can make a difference today by donating cash or kind to help rebuild lives.
We're collecting non-perishable food items,
bottled water,
baby supplies,
hygiene products,
toiletries,
cleaning supplies,
bedding, tarpaulins, and small household items.
Drop off your donations of cash and kind at Love 101 FM or participating partner churches island-wide.
Every can, every package, every dollar helps bring hope to the hurting. Together, we are Love in Action. Love 101 FM,
the family station.
When the gunman
On the next mailbox, we'll be exploring the theme Men Leading in Faith, Family, and Finances. Leading in these areas involve a holistic approach to biblical manhood, characterized by sacrificial love, stewardship, and purposeful servant-hearted guidance. It is said that a man's primary responsibility is to cultivate his own relationship with God, which in turn fuels his ability to lead his home and manage resources responsibly. You are invited to join the conversation with our special guests, Reverend Nigel Martin and Elder John Rooms, as they share on this relevant topic in a 21st century setting. That's Wednesday, January 21 at 5:30 p.m. on the family station Love 101, the Mailbox, Monday.
Which part of the man of God, God, when you hear the trumpet or the...
Tuesday, January 20, on The Rock, we tackle a bold and timely question: is the church becoming too feminine? And if it is, what does that really mean? Join our guests, Anthony Bryan and Paul Bourne, as we explore whether men are withdrawing from the faith or if outdated ideas of masculinity are colliding with the heart of the gospel. We're digging deep, separating perception from truth to see if this is a cultural concern, a statistical reality, a theological misunderstanding, or even a spiritual opportunity for the church. Plus, don't miss Scripture Spotlight with Danielle Dodd. That's The Rock, Tuesday, January 20 at 10 a.m. on the family station, Love 101.
In 2025, murders fell below 700 for the first time since 1994, over 31 years ago. This represents more than a 40% reduction year over year, with over 470 lives spared when compared with 2024. Compared to the 2009 peak of 1,683 murders, this represents a 60% decline on more than 1,000 lives saved. I extend sincere appreciation to all partners across the national security architecture. Your collective efforts have changed the trajectory of our nation, placing us firmly on the path to long-term, sustainable crime reduction. This achievement belongs to all Jamaicans. Together, let us protect this hard-won peace and press forward to what we can and must become: a safer and more peaceful Jamaica.
A message from the Ministry of National Security and Peace.
Mama work hard, for real. She do the most to send me and my brother go school. So, the dream was always to go to university. Well, I fulfilled 2 dreams with 1 Jane Bank savings plan, you know. I further my education and I make mama proud.
Save so you can make the park, travel park, graduate like a star.
Stop wishing you could. With your Jane Bank savings, you absolutely can. Jane Bank will help you find a way.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now join Jokal for a look at how our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp friends answer today's question: do countries owe transparency and timelines when immigration processes are suspended or delayed? Jokal?
All right, so we have a response here from Cherry in Spanish Town. Cherry says it's not a matter of if the countries are obligated, but they should ensure that visitors and citizens have a clear understanding of their implications and the do's and don'ts, so that they don't leave persons in limbo. Monica was just responding to the first watch, the conversation. She said it's interesting that Trinidad, Guyana, and Suriname have large East Indian population, also oil and petroleum. So I was responding to the first watch.
Yeah. Yes, an insightful comment there. Both are. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Jokal. As we now segue into the second watch, a recent Gleaner editorial has warned about the growing misuse of artificial intelligence to create realistic, sexualized images of individuals without their consent. Images that can be shared instantly anonymously and globally. Well, to discuss the concerns associated with these developments, we have online Chuck Cameron, attorney at law and founder of Design Privacy, and Raquel Robertson Dakers, marketing and digital media officer here at Love FM. Good morning to you both.
Morning, please, to you and your audience.
Good morning.
Yes, morning to you both. Good to have you. I begin with you, Raquel Robertson Dakers. As far as you are aware, how are these sexualized images of real persons created, and how much of a concern has it become, both locally and otherwise, would you say?
Good morning again, everyone. So these images are clearly created by AI. They're AI generated persons who have clearly nothing good to do with their time, spend it creating these over sexualized or sexual images and videos of persons. A lot of countries have already dealt with it on a legal standpoint in terms of making it criminalized. But the concerns are great because it can cause psychological trauma, reputational harm, it can become harassment, it threatens a person's safety and dignity. So it is of great concern. While we haven't seen it blown up in Jamaica as yet, and we hope it doesn't, we see it on the international scene becoming a very big issue where even some students, children are being harassed. Teenagers can't go to school anymore because somebody decided to create a fake AI, a deep fake about them in a sexual way. So it is a serious situation.
So tell us a little bit more, Raquel, before I go to Chuck Cameron. You'd have the real face of an individual.
Yes, face and voice in some cases.
Voice.
Yes. So there was one of the cases that caused this to become a big thing on the scene is there was this young lady who used to do streaming on a platform called Twitch. And so somebody took several hours of her recordings, and from her game streaming created a pornographic deep fake of her. And she just woke up one morning to messages and phone calls saying, "How could you do this?" And before she knew it, the entire country was questioning who is this girl, why she's on social media in this way. She's a minor, where her parents, not knowing that somebody decided to do this to her. But it was from videos of her live streams. So being careful of your face on social media is one of the things, but you shouldn't have to go that far. But I'm sure we'll get to that soon.
Yeah. Chuck Cameron, Raquel mentioned the whole matter of the legal part of it. What can you tell us about that in terms of Jamaica's reality? Are there laws in place that will deal with this, and what are the other implications therein?
Yes, we have a very robust legal framework, starting with the Cybercrimes Act. That would be an offense under the Cybercrimes Act for publishing what would appear to be a nude picture of an individual, because it doesn't have to be an authentic picture. It just has to be obscene and cause harm. Under the Data Protection Act as well, there's also protection, and you can be prosecuted under the criminal framework as well, because here you're using the image of someone without their authority, which is also considered to be personal data and is a criminal offense. And then there's also civil liability under defamation. If it is a publication of that nude image, lowers the individual in the eyes of the public. So we have an extremely robust legal framework to treat with matters such as that.
Yes. Could you just hold a minute, please? I'm skipping right there, Chuck Cameron. Just want to acknowledge the fact that it is now 7:45 a.m. and we are still on Love 101. Continue, please.
Yes, sir. Well, it's actually 1:45 where I am now.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Go ahead.
Right. So The enforcement, however, is a challenge, is to identify who posted it, because that will require initiating legislation outside of Jamaica to have the platform provider disclose who posted this. So that's a challenge. It may be easier from a data protection perspective, where an information commissioner could collaborate with her sister information commissioner if it is one could identify the jurisdiction from whence the post came.
Yes. And a little bit more on that as we drill down, Chuck Cameron. What if somebody receives these images? The fact that that person perhaps would have posted it to someone else. The creator of it is not the person who ends up posting it. Is that person also liable under these laws?
The person who received it and just
Yeah,
published it.
right. And then posted it to another individual,
the
sent it.
cybercrimes, under all laws, the Cybercrimes Act, the Data Protection Act, and the defamation laws, the person who just posted it, published it, would be subject to criminal prosecution.
Mhm. And like what? What are the penalties therein? Can you give us an idea?
Jail. That's what I mean when I say criminal prosecution. Jail. The number of years, I can't speak to it with specificity, but you can go to jail, lock up.
Yeah. Raquel Robertson Dakers, technologically, can anything be done to counteract these hideous acts?
In terms of stopping persons from creating them?
Yes, and if it is done, what do you do? Apart from the legal part of it.
Unfortunately, when somebody make up their mind to do unscrupulous acts, they're going to find a way to do those unscrupulous acts. That's the reality of the situation. And with the growth of AI and different platforms coming up where you can create just about anything, anything at all in AI, it's impossible to stop it. But to prevent it, you also can't prevent it from happening. You can't stop it, you can't prevent it. But to protect yourself, once you find out that this has happened, first thing you need to do, you capture the recording, capture the evidence, capture the information of who you saw post it, and call the police. Report it on the social media platforms, report it to your local police station, and allow the cybercrimes unit to do what they do best. But there's really, unfortunately, you cannot stop people from doing bad things with the technology that they have in their hands.
So I would suggest that while you can't stop it, there are steps you can take to minimize it. So think about the needs. It is supposed to give you a source of truth in terms of your identity. If it is you have a digital authentic self, or authentic place where you publish data, people will be able to determine to say, okay, this is not a verified post. And well, the challenge with that is that the wider public who consumes data may not be in a position to discern what is a verified post or not. But there are being able to identify an individual is one of the things humans have done from day one. And this is just in a digital space. We just need to evolve to that. And interestingly, that is one of the main discussions being had on the world stage right now.
Yeah. And Chuck Cameron, are you satisfied with the you mentioned three major laws in Jamaica? Are you satisfied that they've covered all the bases in this regard with what's going on with AI, etc.?
I am not satisfied that the powers of the Information Commissioner has not yet been enforced. So that's a significant failing.
What's that about? Tell us more about that, please.
Parliament has failed to give the information commissioner or invoke or the powers that are set out in the laws. So while the law is very robust, and on paper, the information commissioner has an extreme amount of power to protect citizens, the parliament has not invoked those sections of the law. So that is a significant failing. The Cybercrimes Act does address this specific issue, but I understand it's now being amended to even address more nuanced challenges. But do we have a robust framework? Yes, we do. Do we have the enforcement capacity in terms of Jamaica Constabulary Force? And they are continually upgrading their skills? Yes. On the human layer, from data protection, the answer to that is no. Right now, we are depending on American stroke European certification to implement our laws or interpret our Data Protection Act. We have no local training on the Jamaican Data Protection Act. Most of the DPOs today are data protection officer, and that is what the Data Protection Act says most businesses must appoint. They are trained under European law and not the Jamaican law. And that again is a significant failing. And that's a gap I'm actually trying to close.
Yeah. I'm happy you went there, Chuck Cameron, because if the origin of the AI generated sexualized images are the origins are from abroad, right? Outside of Jamaica, outside of Jamaica, how will that be addressed?
Twofold. One, once the powers of the information commissioner has been enacted, and she would have developed bilateral relationships with other supervisory authorities across the world, she could, once a complaint is made and the individual and jurisdiction identified, she could pick up the phone and call her sister supervisor authority and say that we want to investigate A, B, or C. We're not there yet, but that is how it works in general. From the criminal side, we already have mutual bilateral agreements with various countries where we can prosecute persons or investigate and seek to have extradited individuals to be prosecuted in Jamaica.
So stick a pin right there, Chuck. If there's absence of that bilateral agreement, what what can be done?
Nothing.
Right.
Well, what can be done is Jamaica.
That's it.
Well, what is done is on a national level. The question is, what treaties do you enter into with what countries to protect citizens' rights? So that is where it falls into the remit of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we have very active representation on the international level in terms where these treaties are made and agreed upon. So we are very aggressive and impactful in that regard.
Yeah. Raquel, as we wind on our discussion, I think you had mentioned that we have to be careful about what we share in social media. But nowadays, I mean, the world we're living in now, just to even apply for certain things, to get access to certain apps and all of those things, they seem to require a lot of stuff to be posted. What are some of the guidelines that you'd like to give to the listening and viewing audience in that regard?
So I just want to add to what Chad was saying about pretty much building your online brand. So there are certain things, you don't normally post or get involved, certain conversations you don't get involved in. Once your followers know your personality, know the type of content that you are used to posting, they're more likely to question if they see something out of character. Unfortunately, you do have persons in society that don't read, that don't research, that don't double check things, and just keep circulating fake information and these deep fake sexualized images as well. But pick up an online personality and stick to it. If you know you don't normally post certain things about yourself, persons will question it. So don't put yourself out there in a certain way to create an environment to say, oh, it's easy to see him or her in that position, when really it's not who you are. So you have to be careful about the side of you, or the parts of you that you show on social media. Some things you need to keep to yourself. Some countries go as far as blocking AI tools on a national level. I don't think Jamaica is there or wants to get there, but in those countries, they have less instances of these situations because they don't have access to the technology in the first place. But on a personal level, you just have to be careful about the brand of yourself that you put out there, to make sure that it does not align or cannot align with something as serious as deep fake pornography.
Yes. But even for example, WhatsApp, persons have their, what they call it, is it display pictures or whatever? Is
Yes.
that recommended?
You can put up a display picture. The thing with WhatsApp is you have your security features on the inside, where you can only show your profile picture to your contacts. So if you don't have somebody in your contact, they cannot see your WhatsApp picture. So you have to look through the profiles, the different platforms that you're using, look at their security features. A lot of them come with a lot of data protective features that you just have to learn how to manipulate for your best interest.
Yeah. Chuck Cameron, I sense that you want to say something.
Well,
Chuck, sorry.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to join in this conversation, because I was just saying, so I'm currently at Davos in World Economic Forum, and these questions surrounding the human layer in AI is what all developing countries are facing. And the question is, who is building the human capacity? And roles like the media have a very important role to play in sensitizing the public. But we even need to go further than that. So I'm grateful to share on this topic this morning.
We're grateful to have both of you sharing with us. Thank you so very much. And a safe journey back, Chuck Cameron. All right. Bless you both.
You too.
Great. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we continue to set the stage for a discussion of topical and controversial issues. For information, and don't get copies of this program, call our production department at 876-968-959627. This, of course, has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Yashika Nevers, and our guests. I'm Dylan Toussaint, returning you to Love in the Morning with Joe Caldaya.